Hello, 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 and welcome to IML Presents Women in Entrepreneurship. I am Shirley Harford, one of your hosts. I am the founder of the Women's Business Center, RVA, and the very happy host of Work Hardaholics. And I am joined by...
I am your co-host, Amy Gorelick. I am founder and CEO of Power Up Video.
Power up video, people. Okay, so we're about to get this party started. We want to make sure that you know that Women in Entrepreneurship is a limited series and brought to you by Boss Ladies Who Tea. This means you. Alrighty then. So right now we're really excited because this focus is all about women and entrepreneurship. And we're here today with my cousin. She's not really my cousin that I know of, but she feels like family. We're here with Ashley Jefferson of Very Ashley.
Hello, how are you?
Give it to me, Ashley. Give it to me now.
How are you doing, cousin? Hey, cousin girl.
There we go. We're going to keep it light. We're going to keep it fun. We're going to keep it real. And we are really happy to talk to Ashley because Ashley is amazing. Ashley, tell us just a little bit about yourself.
So I am Ashley Jefferson, owner of Very Ashley. And Very Ashley is a boutique at Stony Point Fashion Park that specializes in dressing the woman who is both the beauty and the boss of her life.
I always love the beauty and the boss.
That's right.
So how did you even end up in Richmond?
Oh my gosh. So in 2015, I wanted to start my own business. I was selling hair extensions.
All right. Now.
And I was talking to my accountant and he said, there's no way you can pay your car and have this mortgage and start a business. It's just not going to happen. So I was a teacher then. So he's like, if you want to do that, you're going to have to decrease your living expenses. So my brother was already here with his wife and he's like, come on down to Richmond. It's cheaper to live. It was at the time. And that's how it started. That's how it started. And then fast forward a couple of years and Very Ashley was born.
So what I found fascinating, when it comes to success, it always looks like it's overnight. Right. So all of a sudden we're seeing the Very Ashley magazine. Like all of a sudden we're seeing your name everywhere. We're seeing your shops. We're seeing your lovely social media presence where you're modeling all of your things. But really, what was the journey that got you here?
Help me, Jesus. The journey, it's definitely never overnight. It's always, so I would say this, the journey to success is easy. It's finding the road that's hard. And it took me a long time to figure out what that road is. So that road, I think, is when you finally find your purpose and you're in alignment, everything works out that way. But the twists and turns were so crazy. Like, how deep we about to go already? We just started this thing. But it's not being able to pay bills. It's not being able to get up out of bed because you're so depressed. My very first store, I started off saying that I was selling hair extensions. So I had my very first store in Shockoe Bottom. And I had rented out this little office shop and just filled it with some hair. And I assumed that that was going to be success. It was total failure. We had a grand opening and grand closing in 6 months. Ooh. I didn't do any research. I didn't know anything. And it was a very foolish decision. And so I had to learn. I went from there to the living in the office that I had rented out to sell hair. So I was living there for about 3 months. And that was a really weird time. Oh my gosh. And so then I started working at the Croaker Spot as a bartender. So now I'm actually getting to know people in Richmond and appreciating being here.
Spot to get to know your community.
Is. Oh my gosh. And the people, a large part of my journey really does start at the Croaker Spot. And actually I have to give a shout out to Sharita McGowan, who's the owner. She really helped me out. And I don't even know if she even knows this, but I was working there getting all these hours because I needed it, because right around this time, BMW was calling me because they wanted their car back. And I was like, y'all ain't going to find me because you're not taking this car back, okay? No. So I was researching how to, escape the repo guy. It was so deep, but Cherie was giving me, everything I needed at the time to make money and to do the best that I could. Finally, I thought that I had enough to leave, and I left. I tried to open a business again, failed. And so I went back to her a couple of years later, and I was like, can I work for you again? Actually, it was a year later. And she's like, come on. And I thought that was really nice that she appreciated me enough and my dream enough to be like, I'm going to give you a second chance. So I was back there again, trying to build my life back up and just working as a bartender, just trying it out. And then finally I left again, and that was the last time. Third time's a charm. And then I was able to have Very Ashley, if she's come to the store, she's like, oh, wow, I remember you were trying to put this together. So
people from the outside, all they see is the success.
They
only see you modeling around in the beautiful clothes and hanging out with Steve Madden in Las Vegas. That's all they see. They don't know that
Absolutely.
end.
They don't. And I was thinking, well, what motivates you? I feel like you get up every morning and you try again. That's sort of what I just heard was, you just kept going. The dream is there. What motivates you?
I have no idea. So I remember talking to this one lady, and she was like, Ashley, are you really determined, or are you just too stupid to know where you failed?
That's actually the definition of entrepreneur.
I know whichever you say, but there's definitely something inside of me that's like, I need to keep doing this. And it's so, I think entrepreneurs are born. Everybody can kind of do it, but a real entrepreneur is like, it's something inside of you. Like I was literally selling cookies and candy to my classmates in high school. Like I just always wanted to do that. When I was working at other jobs, in my mind, I'm like, I could do this better, or I could learn from here. I'm always figuring out how to open my own thing. But what I really do love, and what actually really makes me get up now, are the people. I love meeting these people in my store. And Very Ashley is a little bit more than just clothes. It's like, it's a little therapy studio, and women come in all shapes and sizes from all backgrounds of life, and they want to talk. And Very Ashley is that safe space to do that. So I love being in the fitting room with the girls while they're trying on their clothes. They're in there, and I'm like right outside in our little fitting room hallway, and we're just talking about whatever they're going through, and any topic that is on a woman's mind comes out in that fitting room. And I love that. That's what gets me up. And that's kind of where the magazine kind of came.
You've built a world that they trust.
Yeah.
And I love that.
I mean, a community. It really is.
And that's part of the thing that I love. Like every time you're talking about beauty and, the boss, I love that. And I love the community. And the thing that I see from you often is like your actual engagement in your community, like your support of the NBL and, things that you do with your, like the charities and the sports night and everything else that you have going on. So like what led you to really start hosting like those types of events and that type of engagement for your community?
Well, yes, girl, because I am not an event planner at all, but retail has changed. It is not what it was in 2008 or in 1998. So I do remember when I was in high school and middle school, my mom would drop me and my girlfriends off at the mall. We could run the whole mall. It was the place to be, and it was fun. It was like all the things. But now that's just not happening. So you have to, if you want to succeed, you have to have a destination. And so, or you have to have events. You have to have reasons why people are coming. And so that was another reason why I'm like, okay, let's have these events. Let's have these things, fashion shows, or the big game fashion event, which was for the men at my store, because that will get people a reason to come. And they do shop and they do buy at that time. And that's great, but it does definitely pull me out of my comfort zone because I'm not in event planning. Event planning requires so much time and attention. There's so many logistics.
I would never have guessed based on seeing the coverage of your events. I'm
going to tell you, I am so thankful to be surrounded by amazing people. I feel like everybody who comes into my space, and this might be, because I pray about it. And I'm like, Lord, just bring me good people who know what they're doing, and I don't have to tell them what to do. They can just do it. And thank God that has been happening. because I don't know how to do nothing except sell clothes. I am a boutique owner, but and I love business. I can talk about that all day. But retail just isn't the same. So you have to offer something else, give something else. And so the magazine kind of came about because I started working with the magazine, and
you have a history in journalism.
I have a history in journalism. Yes, actually, when I was in high school, when I was teaching high school, I was teaching mobile journalism. I went to school for communications, and it just kind of fell into place. But the magazine came out because I wanted to merge what I loved, which was the journalism and the fashions and making people feel good. We also have articles about business in there as well. But that also kind of sprung up from the time that I had with my customers. But that also brings people into the store because they want to be in the magazine, see themselves, stuff like that. I feel like I'm rambling, but I'm going to get there.
And that's what we're asking for. And I'm curious to know, so I know you've said a few times that retail is changing. So for other individuals who are interested in the retail industry, are there tips? Are there recommendations? Do you think they shouldn't even be coming in? And I even want to throw in, like, as a subtitle to that, what's it like being a woman in retail?
Mm-hmm. So, okay, because that's twofold. First things first, if you want to get into retail, I really think you need to start online. And that was where I went wrong. And I think that set Very Ashley back a long time. So yes, I made it through a pandemic and through pandemonium, but it was a struggle. And I thank God for the people who are my customers, because my customers really are my family now. They're my friends now. And they really supported me through that time. But I will be very honest in saying, if the pandemic had not happened, Very Ashley would not be here. At that time, I was struggling, suffering. And I remember getting the message from, I think it was the governor, saying when we have to close your store down and things like that. And there was such a relief that I didn't have to come in the store anymore because I had no inventory. My employees were acting up. It was crazy and wild. And I was going to fail. But the pandemic just happened to help me. And so I could shut the store down without any penalty. Luckily for me, we didn't get any penalty. I could just kind of recalibrate and think. And then that's also around the time when I started saying, let me just focus on the people who really do appreciate Very Ashley and cultivate those relationships. And that's kind of how that turned things around. Now, as a woman, I think it might be easy for me in certain regards. So I'm going to try to speak about this in two different sets. I'm a fashion blogger. A fashion writer. Start off as a fashion blogger. I'm a fashion writer. I own a fashion boutique. It is very easy to navigate that space as a woman. It was difficult for me to navigate spaces when I was just a magazine owner. So VA Style started off as River City Magazine. And it was hard. I think trying to get loans was a little difficult doing that. Even certain conversations that I would have with guys, they wouldn't really take it seriously. And now, we can dig into that and just be like, well, what are you doing? What are you doing? But when I came back to them with pretty much the same numbers, and to be very transparent, in 2020, or I should say in 2019, Very Ashley was so suffering so bad. I mean, we were deep in the red. The magazine in 19, we made almost $100,000. So if you were going to take either one of the businesses seriously, it should have been the magazine. I mean, that was very profitable. The store, not so much. But for whatever reason, they were like, oh, well, she's got a little fashion boutique. I'll throw her a couple dollars and we can help that out. But they would never look at the business that was profitable. So that's something that I do sit on and just be like, well, what was the differentiating thing? And I think it was because fashion is feminine. And they could just see me in this little boutique store. But when it comes to something that could have been competition, it was like, hold up, I'm not, And that's not all men, but just unfortunately the ones that I've met.
The point for us is we love to be able to peel back the screens and see what's happening behind there. So if no one else, I really want to say, I'm sure we can both say, really appreciate your transparency and your honesty, because this is what's missing in our conversations. Because once again, they see the video, they see your feathers, and as you walk your runway. And the thing I find very interesting is that it's something I just notice in common for the two of you. Like whenever I look at your videos, I actually do think of you.
Oh, wow.
We're in similar spaces because, I want what you want to project to be what is captured and what is real.
Yeah.
And I love that you've, again, peeled back the layers to be even more real. So I do think that'll connect you with even more people after this, because none of this is easy.
It's not. It's really not easy. But I think for a very long time, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I mean, I knew I wanted a store, but I didn't have anything branding. There was no such thing as that for me. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't online. Like, my website was archaic at best. And I guess, I don't know. I just really didn't take it seriously. So here's another transparent moment. How are we going here? I'm like, so how did Very Ashley start for real? So I was engaged and my, fiance, I said, I want something to do, I'll not just be sitting around the house. And, he said, well, let's start a store. So I got a store, and that was a very serendipitous thing about how we got the location that I'm in now. But then in the pandemic happened, my store was closed, and I lost my relationship. So that was difficult for me. But now who's gonna provide? I gotta provide for myself and this little thing. So,
with that in mind, how do you balance? I mean, balance is sort of a myth. I know that's sort of the silly question there, but what do you do to disconnect, to take care of yourself?
Oh, girl, I go to therapy every Monday. So I'm talking to, her name is also Ashley, every Monday. So that's one. Also, meditation really works for me. So my mornings are really valuable to me. So I wake up a little early, have my coffee, and just in silence, it's just me and the dog. And that really does matter.
It does.
Kind of recalibrate my mind. I also journal a lot. Mm-hmm. Then I do see what's going on in business in the world, not necessarily just fashion business, but I do want to see how people are thinking, and because how y'all are spending your money lets me know what my sales are going to be. Sure. So I'm like, let's see what that is. But honestly, I really thank my tribe, the people who are surrounding me. And that is really a God-given thing, because I don't know, amazing people just pop out of nowhere, and we get along, and they like what I do and I like what they do, and we just connect. And having a team is so important, and trusting them. And just believing in them and what they do and what their vision is. Even if I can't see it, I would just allow them to bring it out. And I mean, almost 9 out of 10 times, it's way better than anything I could have fathomed. And that's just because I trusted the good people around me. And I'm so thankful for that. Yeah.
You have a good energy and you attract good people.
Thank you. I try. I try.
Yeah, because you're so humble, which blows my mind sometimes. Because even in this conversation, I think it's wonderful we can talk about the trials and tribulations that brought you to this point, that helped shape you, to bring the diamond out of the coal. But gosh, you don't give yourself enough credit. You are so absolutely positively amazing. Amazing people draw amazing people. And so even with all that in mind, I'm curious to know, what's next? What's on the horizon for Very Ashley, which is already killing the game?
Oh my God. I actually do have some things coming up.
All right.
Do you see how her eyes just sparkle in the passion?
So the thing I just opened the Fashion and Philanthropy Foundation.
Wow.
And I am so happy about that. So we have the articles and everything, and we're just in the process of getting the paperwork for the 501c3. But oh my goodness, my heart is so happy. All of the events and things, I just love the people coming together and giving. And so now the program is to give to kids who want to get into fashion, giving them scholarships. So what I'm finding is that again, some people do not really take fashion seriously. But if you look at the business side of fashion, it is a business. It is cutthroat, and people need to be able to be amongst other people who can have a conference about shoes. So this is another thing, and it might be a long-winded, but I'm gonna get to the point. Okay, so I go to Magic twice a year, and it is a place where all the boutique owners and everybody that's in fashion design gather to purchase clothes for their stores, big stores, little stores, but also to exchange information in the fashion industry, and that is so paramount to people's success, because you won't really get that anywhere else except for in a university like FIT or even VCU has a great fashion program. And a lot of people who are not, from certain backgrounds, they cannot afford to go to especially these kind of schools, which are fashion schools. And I'm telling you, when you have a dream inside of you, if you don't express it and let it out, it turns into bitterness. And so I want these kids who want to get into fashion programs and be amongst those people that can have those conversations and use that language to be able to do that. And also, I will give myself just a little bit of credit by saying I know how to run a dye business and I know how to bring it back to life because Very Ashley is alive. And so I also want to be able to teach children how to run their own businesses and their own boutiques. And so that's basically is what the Fashion and Philanthropy Foundation is all about. And so I'm so excited about that.
Oh my gosh. Wonderful. Well, I guess the what's next is the big question, and now you've told us, but what do you think is next for fashion and for here in Richmond, the trends? I mean, again, not to take us too far off book, but what are you seeing?
Yeah, so Richmond, believe it or not, I think is becoming a little bit more fashionably aware, a little more forward focused. I mean, there's a lot of new developments and new things that are coming to Richmond, which is bringing a lot of new ideas here. So with that being said, I look forward to the fashion community. We have great events that are going on here. Like RVA Fashion Week is a really big deal, and I'm very proud of the people that put that together. And there are quite a few other little smaller programs, but they're doing really big things. Winter Wonderland is another fashion show event that goes on. And then even Very Ashley, there's so many different fashion boutiques that are opening up, fashion communities. And one thing I will say, I'm not saying one thing, I'm saying a lot of things, but something else that I will say about Richmond is I like the camaraderie of business owners here. And that bleeds over into fashion as well. And so if you open a store, other boutique owners will come and, welcome you in. Other fashion people, photographers, and all the things, they just come and welcome you in. And yes, there is some competition, but there's a lot more collaboration. And that really helps people out. And it really helped me when I was still trying to figure out what I was trying to do. Because again, Very Ashley was really just something for me to do, because I told my then fiance I didn't want to be at home and just sitting at the house watching Tiger King. And he's like, okay, well, we can open up a store. So that's kind of what it was. And I always thank him for allowing me to do that. But oh, baby, when you break up with a provider and you don't have no provision, it's a struggle. I should have thought my exit strategy out a little better. It's motivating.
But it's so absolutely positively real. One of the problems that I have when we're interviewing or talking to individuals is that they always talk about, oh, I'm so great, I'm so fabulous, I did this, and then we get these people with these unrealistic expectations of what it takes to be successful. So when we once again we're pulling it back, you're like, hey, I love the fact you're so transparent. Yes. And something else that I always trip, because I know my preconceived notions before I met you, because you're pretty and you're in an industry that focuses on, external, and they wouldn't know how absolutely deep you are. And when you're talking about the people and the connections, that beauty that you give to the women who come in, the time that you give to them, that you're even willing to meet with people like us after hours if need be. the events that you're creating and developing. I mean, you're doing some amazing things. And I especially love the philanthropic. I can talk. Yes. Philanthropical. See how excited I got? Couldn't even speak English. But there's something else that you do that you haven't mentioned. And I know we don't have much longer. I'm sorry, everyone, we don't. But I know that you actually bring in those designers from VCU and local designers into your shop. I do. Tell us about that, because that's not something everywhere.
So I really thank you for saying all of that, because I never even think that all of this is stuff. And when you're like, what gets you up? I mean, I just wake up just to go see my friends. I wanted to hang out with y'all today. So I'm like, let's go do the thing. But we do have the designer exclusive program. And that is where local designers can bring their stuff to sell at Very Ashley. And one thing that's really beneficial is I'm right there next to Saks Fifth Avenue. And, that customer is very discerning. They will let you know about your sale. And so I'm like, well, come on in here and sell your stuff. And the Saks customer will let you know if it's good or not. And they do say. But I like being able to offer that opportunity to people. And now, because I've been in business so long and I've done the work and taken the classes to learn, I'm able now to offer constructive criticism and or praise. And I'm so fortunate that the people that are in the designer exclusive program now are really great. And so let me just shout a few of them out. So we have Miss Abidis is owned by Miss Samantha Smith, and she has some of the best workwear. I mean, it is just stellar. And then Georgia Johnson owns Talia Addy, which is some of the best fabrics, the best designs for just going out and looking something fabulous, like to brunch or date night. I absolutely love what they have. And then Jewelry by Ginger's Love and Ryan Asia. And they've been in my store for quite a while. And it has some really intricate designs that makes the store Very Ashley so much more special. And I think Very Ashley is special because of them. And they offer these things that you cannot get anywhere else. So that also gives my store a little bit of a competitive edge. So I'm thankful that I have the designers like Jeffrey Campbell and Steve Madden, but you can't get a Abidis dress anywhere else but for Very Ashley, at least right now. And hopefully they will grow to a point where they can be in other stores, but I'm so glad to be on the foundation of their journey. So yeah, I have fun with that too.
Just one of the many contributions that Ashley makes to our community.
Thank you.
So I didn't know if you had anything else.
No, I just want to go and shop now. That's all.
Please. For those who don't know, I already told Ashley yes. The moment we leave here, yes, we're going over to the shop because some of us need to be styled. And I'm sure that you all do as well. And what a great way to be styled and support the community by supporting someone who is such an integral part of our community. So we just want to say thank you, Ashley, for taking the time to hang out with us today.
Thank you guys for having me.
Everyone who is watching, make sure shop online, come into the shop personally. Let everyone know how to reach you, how to contact you.
Please find me shopveryashley.com and on Instagram at Shop Very Ashley.
And there you go, quite consistently. So you heard how you go about doing it. You heard the research. You heard how she stuck to it. You heard how you have to take the moment to take care of your mind, your body, your spirit. Make sure you got everything in order so that you can come out and be as fierce and fabulous as Miss Ashley over here. So on our behalf.
Yes. Sorry, I'm so enjoying what you take this on. Thank you so much. This has been wonderful. Yes.
We want to say thank you all once again for being a part of IML Presents Women in Entrepreneurship. Once again, brought to you by Boss Ladies Who Tea. I am Shirley Crawford, your co-host.
And I'm Amy Gorelick.
And once again, we just want to say happy entrepreneur.